I'm John.
I'm Preston.
So just to recap, starts with the Airbender kids leaving the Air Temple, and they're all just kind of going off on their own. The mom's worried and everything, and they just kind of, Aang and everyone was our age when we left, or when they left and went off on their own. So it's not a big deal. And Milo is like all, I entered the gnome, man or lady, and it's like onward, and very, I don't know, a lot like Boomy, kind of like Commander or whatever. He seems like he's like a little version of him. Like, he might become something like that. I don't know. And it goes right from there to stopping at like a rest stop or something.
Yeah, it looks like a carnival type thing, sort of. I don't know what the heck that was.
No. It was like it's almost like it was part of the Air Temple.
Kind of,
but
yeah.
It wasn't. I mean, like they just stopped, so they must have been flying for a while. So I don't know where that actually could be.
At least an hour.
But like underneath there, like in the valley or whatever, is like a town. So I don't know if that's part of it or what. Jinora stops to meditate to find Korra, and Iki and Milo decide to go into the town to see if anyone's seen Korra. Really interesting thing here. Milo did a drawing of Korra, which was actually very good for his age. I think he's supposed to be like 9 now or something.
Is that how old he is?
Yeah, he's like 9. So, yeah, quite good. I mean, I'm an artist, so to be that skilled at that young of an age is a big deal. It's interesting, and it's kind of a nice like offset. I mean, if you were to compare Milo to like if he was like the Sokka of the group, I guess, like the goofy kind of like leader-ish character. Sokka could never draw, like he was terrible at drawing. Yeah. So it's funny that like Milo is very good at drawing. They get to the town. Kuvira posters up everywhere, all over the place. This place obviously has been taken over by Kuvira, and they're just asking around. Have you seen this woman? And they show the drawing, and it's like, no, no one's seen her. And do we still have one of those?
Yeah, the guy in the bar. Do we even have one of those anymore?
Avatar. It's been 3 years. Milo meets this girl selling flowers, I guess. And he's like, I got a top secret mission, or something like that. He's like, I'm on a top secret mission. Just automatically just approaches her with like this ridiculous scenario. And she's like, oh, really? And Iki's like, ooh, Milo's got himself a girlfriend. And then she kind of like leaves. He's like, you chased away the love of my life. The only woman I've ever loved. I don't know, something like that. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know. You don't think she will? I don't think she will. I think she's going to come back at some point, just because why not? I mean, if they're going to have a happy ending, I hope they have a happy ending. I don't know. It might be a terrible ending. Everyone dies. Everybody dies. Kuvira wins.
Hey, that's equality right there. Yep. Everyone's dead.
Yeah,
and we're all spirits now. So you meets 2 of that criteria.
Well,
and you're free from your earthly bonds.
Yeah. Hey! There you go.
There's a solution. I figured it out.
Death. So the kids make it to the fishing village. The fishing village, the same one that Korra visited on her way to Republic City. And they see that picture of Korra that the guy took. It's so ridiculous. It's like you got Aang doing the crazy, and then like you got Korra like I don't even know what she's doing. She's like,
it was not a flattering picture, that's for sure.
Has Korra ever taken like a good picture? Yeah, she has. She's taken a couple of good photographs. But like, for some reason, she just was like, "Why are you taking my picture?" I don't know. It's funny though. So they asked the guy, like, oh yeah, she came here about around 6 months ago. So it wasn't looking too good. I mean, I like this episode for the kids because it's like you get a lot of really, really funny stuff. A lot of the fun, most of the comedy comes from Milo.
Yeah, or is centered around him anyway.
It's like just his like it's most of the siblings fighting, but it mostly comes from like Milo, where he's like being really like tough with the girls and stuff. I don't know why I found this hilarious, but it's just like, Iggy, this is all your fault. It's like, she's like, what? I didn't even do anything. He's like, exactly. You start pulling your weight around here. And he like turns to Janora. That goes for you too, so-called leader. It's just like, he's like, remember when Milo used to be
that was the best
nice and sweet? And Janora's like, no, like it ends there. What are you talking about? I mean, he was definitely with a cute kid when he was, in like the first season. He's just this kid.
He was never a nice, sweet kid, though.
Yeah, but
ever.
I would say obnoxious and kind of, crazy. But again, and this goes with all the characters, all the kids, but especially Iki and Milo. We never got a lot from them. I always hated that because it's like the voice actors are so talented for the kids, and they're barely in it. It's like, I hate that. I'm not saying that the voice talent for the rest of these characters are bad. They're very good too. It's just like you wish that some characters got more screen time. Because
you kind of always wish that, I guess.
Yeah, well, there's some characters that have been like, I could have done without that character. I said this earlier. It's like this episode was very funny.
Yeah.
Like throughout. For it to have like a very kind of emotional
background or ending. Yeah.
And I guess it went in with like the lightheartedness of it and kind of the ultimately like good feeling at the end. But I think it could have actually, or maybe it should have been a little less funny. Like I almost wish like we could have seen them looking for her like in the last episode.
At least, yeah, a little bit of that anyway.
And then this episode would have delved more into like Korra dealing with like all the stuff with looking or seeing the visions and dealing with that whole thing of facing her fears and stuff, and maybe even fighting Dark Korra again, which that never even happened.
I don't think it will now.
I don't think it's gonna happen at all because I think she's completely done with it. But yeah, but we were like predicting that was gonna happen. Like they brought this thing in for this like one episode, and that was it. So it's got to move quickly because they don't have a lot of time. But I said this too earlier, like, so what are they going to show? They have 9 episodes. Are they going to have like a big, huge finale? Are they going to have like a 4-part finale like they did with the original?
They could, or the problems are going to be a lot more big or a lot bigger than we think it is.
Yeah, I mean,
it'd have to be. I mean,
yeah, it's going to have to be.
You're literally challenging Korra at like her best now.
Well, if you read that. Participated in or read the Q&A on the Avatar wiki with the creators and the fans, someone did ask, like, who is your favorite villain? And they said Kuvira. So, I mean, right now, yeah, Kuvira is cool, but like,
I don't see it yet.
Yeah, I don't see it. Why is she their favorite villain? So, I mean, that's very interesting to me. Like, she definitely has more to her than just what we've seen so far.
That might not mean that she's actually. I don't know. Maybe she's not as much of Hitler as she seems. It could be we're completely misunderstanding this character, and that might be intentional. That might be why she looks so.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I'd actually like to think that.
I would like to think that too because she's a little too much Ozai at this point.
Well,
no,
near
sorry, Sozin.
No. I think you were or Sozin. Sozin was a lot like Ozai, just not as crazy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. She's a lot like Sozin.
She's more like...
Hope Sozin.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, she's just trying to push her ideology onto everybody
Everyone else.
But she's doing it because she thinks it's the best thing for everyone.
Which Sozin did too.
Kind of, but he was also delusional.
Well, and she might be too. See, there's a lot of correlations between these two.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Now, she doesn't, of course, she doesn't have a giant meteor. Well, she does have a vine technology. Or comet coming in to superpower her troopers, but she does have the vine technology.
Korra and Toph in the swamp relaxing. Korra's just like, we haven't done anything for like 4 days. When are you going to help me with this or do whatever? I don't even know what. And she's like, tell me a story. Tell me the stories about you guys.
How you taught Aang how to earthbend.
And
she tells the story in like the most. It's not even telling the story anymore. It's literally just stop bothering me, kid. Is basically how she answers her. It's like oh yeah, that was a great story. I threw rocks at the Avatar and Sokka fell in a hole.
Yeah,
that's the entire story that she tells.
She's like, I thought more happened, you know. Like,
and she said, well, how did you take down the fire load? It was hot. I was in a blimp.
I'm pretty sure a giant turtle showed up.
Yeah, and that was about it.
So you're terrible at telling stories. You're terrible at listening to them. You gotta love like the kind of nonsensical.
Yeah.
Thing.
Those two characters are very similar in their like approach to everything.
Yeah.
They just butt heads all the time.
Yeah, it's. They could do a spin-off of just Korra and Toph in the swamp for like 20 episodes, and I would freaking watch every minute of that. So, Toph sends Korra into the swamp. Sends her into the swamp to get some mushrooms for dinner, I guess.
That's at least a pretense.
Yeah. And she tells her, go to the rock with the hole in it, take a right or left or whatever.
You get some slimy mushrooms.
Get the slimy ones. They're the tastiest. I don't know if they are or not.
I would have to think probably not, but then again, I don't know. Might be very good.
Who knows? It jumps back to the kids. Milo apparently had thrown away all the food that their mom had packed for them, painstakingly packed. Drawing little faces on them and everything, and writing notes. Apparently, that's very funny.
It was very sweet notes.
So Janora's just like meditating. She's like, I don't even care about what you two are even doing. You're not helping. Iki's just angry because Milo's like just completely crazy all the time. So Iki's like, I guess she's gonna go look for the food and get it back because
nothing else. Just get away from.
Get away and
Milo
for a while. From Milo and Janora, and because they don't want to do anything. And Milo says he's gonna go hunt for food. Iki, like, oh, we're not hunters, we're vegetarians, we don't hunt, and everything. And so she leaves and looks for the food. Some funny little scenes with Iki. This is like the start of like kind of Iki, kind of becoming her own character, her own personality in this episode. I hope that like. She continues on being a much bigger part of the group, of the three of them. But I also think, and this is getting ahead of myself too, but this episode shows that they work well together as a group too.
In a very dysfunctional way.
Yeah, but that's
about the most dysfunctional way you could possibly work together.
I'm sure it was a commentary on the whole episode.
Yeah.
I'm too tired to think about what it actually is right now. So Iki gets caught by these soldiers from Kuvira's army. They're just patrolling this part of the land, I guess. So she's trespassing. They capture her, and take her back to their little base, I guess.
Cabin.
Is there a cut, or does it go right into that?
It's straight into the cabin.
And these soldiers are
not the highlight of Kuvira's army by any means.
They're not the sharpest tools in the shed, or at least they don't appear to be anyway.
Yeah.
And they definitely are, I don't know. The one seems very easily amused and very gullible. The other one seems a little bit smarter.
But apparently not smart enough or I don't know. You got swayed over pretty quickly too, actually.
I mean, I guess if you were cold and heartless, you might just be like, "Shut up, kid." But these guys,
Yeah, they're talking about the notes they found in the supplies and stuff. Well,
I found a whole
one
bag.
is.
I found a whole bag of food by the river. It came with these little notes.
I do like that scene. You want a macaroon? Don't get that away from me.
Like, I have no idea, but hey, you want a macaroon? Hey, try one of these macaroons. It's like the macaroon was the most important thing.
It happens that those two soldiers have found Milo's discarded supplies and are currently eating them and reading the lovely notes.
Yes. Of course, Iki does actually say that's her stuff.
Yeah.
And she just goes on and on about actually, I really forgot what she said in this particular part.
Well, I think they they were trying to trick her into telling them where her family or where the other two were, and she basically nah, I don't want to see those two hit me with a macaroon.
Yeah. Hit me with one of the macaroons.
Which the guy, of course, does.
Yeah. He's like, all right.
And he praises himself over the shot. It's humorous.
It's absolutely hilarious. Korra is on her way to get some mushrooms.
Yeah.
And she takes a turn
into some the vines with the sun shining behind them. And as soon as she crosses through, we see her having her bending taken away by Mon. She turns from that. We see Unalaq ripping the spirit of Rava out of her. And then we quickly go into Zahir choking her to death. Well, no, it wasn't choking. That was the application of the poison was that scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Which, that scene was the most prolonged.
Yeah.
And, which I'm sure is referring to
that was the one that damaged her the most.
Damaged her the most, and that was the thing that really pushed her over the breaking point. She just kind of collapses and just kind of closes her eyes, and that's kind of where it leaves her for that.
It's pretty much the first real serious scene we've had in this entire episode, except for maybe Iki getting captured.
A very serious scene quickly turned not serious. Oh, she's okay.
She's okay. These guys
unless Kuvira or something showed up or whatever.
Yeah,
I was I'm not worried at all. Milo comes in, he's groaning. But he's somehow still
he's refusing to believe that he did something stupid here. He
found this bag of berries. They're great. They're so delicious. Freaking Pokey just blah, just pukes it all up.
And then Milo's right behind, just runs into the bushes and starts vomiting. And thankfully we're spared from the visual of that.
Yes, we didn't get to spare from Pokey doing it, but at least
or him eating it later.
Yeah, that was we did see him licking the. Anyway, Kenora's well, I see you found this, or I see you you found this bag of poisonous berries. Did you find Iki or something? And she's those berries.
Milo's what? She's gone too? He's all upset because Iki has somehow ruined his day or something. I'm not.
Yeah, well, now he has to find the Avatar and
Iki. Yeah.
Because it's all his, problem. And it seems like Milo's going to storm off on his own, and it just kind of ends there. We go back to the cabin with Iki
and Tweedledee and Tweedledum. We do find out, almost like in the opening scene of this, that Kuvira is moving on Zafu. Yeah, and that's the only place left.
It's the only place left. Her and her army are marching on Zaofu. I mean, either the conversation in episode 3 sparked something in Sue, and she is taking action and is preparing for something, or 2, she didn't prepare at all, and she's just gonna wait to be taken over.
I don't think that'll be the case, but I do believe that Kuvira is going to take this with next to no fight. I honestly believe there are going to be supporters of her inside of Zaofu that are basically going to undermine anything that Suit has prepared for him.
Yeah.
I think you'll see the nice flower barrier thing just open up on its own.
Maybe. Or we might see the unveiling of whatever this
Vine weapon
new
is
tech that Barrick is developing.
I guess we don't know it's a weapon.
Yeah, we don't really know. All we know is it's technology. That's as far as we're gonna go with that. It's spirit and technology mixed. That's all we know. So who knows? There's a couple, a few theories. Sadly, if you've seen the trailer,
yeah, we have that scene of Sue hanging her head.
I mean, I guess that could be later on, but
it kind of seems like it's going to be this next episode. She's all clad up in her armor, and
it makes sense that Kuvira would take over everything.
Yeah,
just because it like with my theory with her that she just has to take it as far as she possibly can, because that's right now that's really the only way that everything that she's doing is going to seem wrong.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at the moment, she's obviously doing it shady. We've already seen that with the great province of Yai, right? The great province. I mean, that was shady, even if the bandits weren't hers, which,
yeah,
we're not 100% confirmed on, but
yeah.
She's obviously not opposed to using some downright threats to get her way, as we've seen with her doing a Sue, actually. And you know what's coming for Zafu.
Well, remember, Kuvira, she gets what she wants.
She gets what she wants.
Iki in this scene is just freaking perfect.
Yeah.
Like, she's just playing these guys. She's not worried. I mean, okay, like, part of me thinks like maybe she's just really naive and like just sees the best in everybody, and she's just kind of like, oh, maybe she's being really friendly and that's kind of working in her favor, or she really understands what's going on and she's just getting all this information out of them. I'm gonna say she's just getting information out of them.
I don't know. Kind of, yeah. I think she's getting information out of them, but I think it's also she's a little bit naive, and also she knows these guys are. She already knows these guys are incompetent. Like, she's already pulled her arm out of the rope. They obviously don't have her tied.
I'm gonna go with she knew what was going on, because Iki could just be another, like, she could just be like herself from the old season, where it's just like, oh, she just does something goofy and nobody really pays attention to Iki. It's all about Jinora, or hey, Milo, he's funny and goofy. But Iki's just kind of, it's Iki, whatever. So I feel like, this was like Iki's
moment to shine.
This was like her episode, so to speak. She did the most, I think, to help in finding Korra.
Yeah, by far.
Out of the three of them. And, even when like Jinora and Milo show up, when they come in and actually rescue her, it's like, rescue her. She's like, I had everything under control. Why'd you guys do that? She seemed genuine about it, so that's why I feel like
she kind of knew.
She knew what she was doing. She had everything under control, like you said, and I think she's definitely, she's not incompetent. She's not.
Oh, I didn't think that.
Flighty and weird and whatever, and doesn't understand what's going on. I mean, maybe she was when she was much younger, but now she's like. She would be around the age of what Aang was when he was in the original series. So, I mean, Aang was a very capable kid. So, and they're all smart, which is cool. It's not just Jinora. Like, they're all smart. They're all very intelligent. She gets information of the swamp from the guys. The guys are not smart. The two soldiers are stupid. Stupid as can be. I mean, she pulls her arms. Like you said, she pulls her arms out.
She pulls her arms out. Yeah.
Like pointing. She's like, oh yeah. And then she's like, "What's this place? Oh, that's the swamp. Ooh, nobody goes there.
Yeah.
No guards are there. Nothing's there.
There's a crazy witch that lives in there. They didn't say that, but
but they would if they knew. But no one goes in there, so they don't know. And then they get out of there. And does Iki bring up it in that scene that
the swamp? Yeah, she has an idea of where she got the supplies, and she has a lead as to where Korra might.
Yeah. I got all the food, and I have an idea where she is. And then it cuts back to
Korra.
Korra, because we know where she is.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like sitting on this big tree root stump thing, tree root, and Toph walks up. Oh, there you are.
Did you get my dinner yet?
Where's my dinner? I'm hungry. And Korra's just, I saw crazy visions and then Tom's like, yeah, I kind of figured something like that.
That would happen. Yeah.
It's like, what? You sent me out here. You knew this was gonna happen. You're more twisted. You're one twisted old lady. You know that?
Yeah.
And she's like, the swamp wanted to help you. I wanted to help you. Which I mean is obvious, but
yeah.
Korra needs reminding constantly, I guess. I love how it's funny how Toph can be like really patient and like really impatient, like somehow all at the same time. I don't understand it. It just works out perfectly somehow. She kind of breaks down this idea of like, you need to learn from these people. You
need to learn why you saw those people in those visions.
Yeah. Everything that you've been through has happened for a reason, and you can gain,
you can actually learn from fighting these, or from who you have fought.
It doesn't have to be a negative. It doesn't have to just all be negative. You need to learn from it, and she basically says like all these guys, all these people, they had their ideologies were, good, but it was like they were unbalanced and they took it to the extremes.
Yeah.
And more or less, she needs to find balance in order to overcome these issues. So Korra doesn't really get it, so she's like, well, let's go to the Banyan Grove tree. And if you watch the original series, you know that the Banyan Grove tree is the center of the swamp, or the source of the swamp. Or this was kind of a weird scene to me, because it was like Ikki's like, come on, she can be here. Look, we can look around and stuff, and
yeah, it was a little odd. Jinora just like dismissed this. She's like, yeah, there's a lot of spiritual energy here, but I don't sense Korra, so let's just hightail it out of here.
It's like, yeah.
Like, you can understand Milo being impatient like that. He's been impatient the entire episode.
Yeah.
You kind of expect it from him, but it was a little odd for Jinora to just dismiss a possible lead like that.
Yeah. But, I mean, I guess it kind of probably goes with the whole, like, Jinora's a know-it-all. Milo is a control freak, I guess.
Yeah.
Ikki's like...
She's like the balanced one out of these two. She's actually thinking logically.
Yeah, thinking logically and thinking, hey, might as well check it out. We're here. It's like, they're like, let's get out of here, and they
turn to go.
But
the swamp don't let them. It literally grabs them out of the sky. It didn't use a tornado this time, but it did grab them down.
Yeah, I didn't want to rehash the tornado.
Well, you can't use the same tricks over and over again. It gets old that way.
Plus, it's like, well, they had the whole airbender theory with the tornado last time. So they're probably like, well, we can't do that one. So, yeah, it just pulls them down, and they're just, I guess, stuck there.
They start arguing.
Ikki's like, see, the swamp wants us here. Ikki understands this concept already, like, when they land.
The most spiritual one of them is like, maybe there's something to it, but Ikki's already got it.
Yeah. I guess that falls in with the middle child thing, it's like, the middle child is always like the one who, like, is so misunderstood and everything, it's like, I guess that kind of falls on Ikki. Nobody listens to her. It's like, okay, Ikki, whatever. So, but Ikki, like I said, this was Ikki's episode.
Yep.
Ikki and Korra, So this is like, I guess, this is one of the bigger moments.
Yeah.
In this episode. Very emotional moment. But Toph. I don't think I even have it written down as far as like what she actually said to her.
I put down some of it. Basically, Toph takes the place of Hugh in this particular episode of The Swamp. She basically tells her that the reason that you're having all these problems is because you have disconnected yourself from your friends and your loved ones, and you also disconnected yourself from yourself. You intentionally are hiding behind your own fears, is what she's saying.
Yeah. Now it's time to face your fears, you know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of what her speech was before this was about.
Yeah.
You know, it's about facing what you're afraid of and actually learning from it instead of just being afraid and letting it kind of pull you down and bog you down. Not entirely sure how she gets the whole let's touch the tree and find.
Yeah, I don't understand why she just jumped to the conclusion of I'm going to touch this tree and now I'm going to find people, but that's what happens.
She's going by, you know, what was expected of her from just looking at the previous episode of the original series. Then yeah, this makes perfect sense. Say something kind of vague and spiritual, touch the tree and do something cool. You know, that's the formula we've followed so far. And it seemed to work. Cause
it did work.
She touched it.
Flamey spirit line all the way through the...
Yeah, yellow beam of fiery light. And apparently it smacks Jinora right in the back of the head. Cause she's like, Korra! Like, just as soon as it gets there. Like, yeah, okay, Jinora, because you were so honed into Korra's spirit there. You wanted to freaking leave.
Yeah. It almost seems like when she touched it, even if, she hasn't been able to unlock the Avatar state or something about that spirit traveled through that line. It almost seems like, because she picked her up as soon as she touched it, effectively.
Yeah, well, I don't think Jinora was necessarily latching on to, or looking for Korra, looking for Rava, as more as she was just looking for Korra's just
energy itself,
energy,
which they're kind of one and the same, actually, anymore.
Yeah. Korra or Caesar, they immediately fly up,
Get this touching reunion scene, lots of
hugging, Korra crying.
This is a very huggy episode, actually.
This was the hugging episode, I'm pretty sure. There have never been more hugs
in Avatar.
In one particular episode.
I'm not even sure in Avatar at all.
I'm not sure in anything, honestly. Nah, but actually, there probably are a few more episodes of Avatar that actually have more hugging.
Probably.
Like the finale, I think, probably has a lot of hugging toward the end there. I think like everyone just turned and hugged each other. I don't know.
It was a group hug.
It was one large group hug. It was like 800 people hugged each other. And it's like the reunion thing, introducing the kids to Toph.
Yeah.
Some very funny things.
You get Korra finally gets an actual briefing somewhat of what Kuvira's up to.
Yeah, it's like, yay, 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 yay,
Kuvira!
Korra, you gotta come back. Kuvira's like, just taking over everything, and nobody did anything about it. You gotta come back and save everybody, because you're the Avatar, and no one can do anything about it at all. It doesn't make any sense at all.
And then, of course, she's still with her doubts, like, I'm not the Avatar I used to be. And this is probably the part that probably, actually speaks to her the most, is like, when, was it Iki who said this? The world needs you back.
Yeah, he does say it.
I think so, yeah. It kind of like spoke to her as like, yeah, you're actually important, and literally no one else can stop her. Like all the world leaders sat on their thumbs the entire time this happened.
I hope that like the writers didn't do that on purpose just to make Korra's return seem
much more
triumphant. Yeah, or something. But it's like now I'm kind of thinking they did.
It kind of feels unfortunately like it kind of was just for that particular point.
That's
a little sad. Yeah.
I hope not, because I mean Korra definitely is needed. She's a one of a kind, at least in a generation. So,
and if nothing else, she's a symbol.
Yeah, she can definitely rally people together. And since people seem to, speak highly of her, at least in Republic City, apparently in Kuvira land, no one even knows about the.
Yeah.
We still got
one of those.
We have one of those still, huh?
Yeah, I thought that thing was gone.
So I think we skipped over a really cool Toph quote.
Did we?
I just want to say it because it's so good.
All right, go ahead with your Toph quote because I didn't write that one down.
She says, you can't expect to face future enemies if you're still fighting the old ones.
Yeah, that was way back.
It's a great. It's just a great quote in general. It's like one of those great quotes from Avatar. Avatar series in general.
Then we go back to the cave.
This was probably my favorite scene.
Yeah.
Out of the entire episode, and probably my favorite scene out of everything we've seen so far. Probably just my favorite moment. Everything about it, the way it was animated, the lighting, the kind of tone, the feeling, the voice acting. Even though like she wasn't even like saying words, but like Janet Varney is so good at just like giving life to the characters. Like I don't know what the voice director does to get her to like get these really great performances, or she's just really amazing anyway. But like, just the breathing that she was doing, like that meditative, like yoga movements and breathing she was doing, was like really convincing to me that she was like really struggling to like push this
metal out,
and it was just really really good. And she kind of just gets these swells up of different flashbacks, but as those are coming up, Toph says, that
fight's over.
That fight's over. It's done. Let it go. And
as soon as she actually starts to realize it, you start seeing the mercury metal poison. Metal poison pulled right out of her.
And it's just kind of like I'm trying to find like a symbolism to it. I don't know if there was any like with the one bead and then like or the two beads and then like the other two beads that came around and like I'm sure there was some kind of symbolism to it. I don't know. I'll look that up. If it does, then I'll keep this.
There's 3 enemies, and there were 3 globes.
Okay.
That's my symbol. I don't know.
Something. I mean, it was very symmetrical or whatever.
It was a very cool scene.
Toph, like, captures it, like, in this.
For, like, later use.
Yeah,
in case another avatar should get uppity or something.
I wonder why she kept it, though. Like, because when Sue got like this gigantic amount of it out of her body. Like,
yeah,
she's like, and she just like throws on the ground.
Yeah, Toph is keeping this. It's a memento.
This is like a trophy or something. I don't know. I for some reason I feel like I should mention that she kept it. I don't know why.
Yeah. But as soon as that poison is out of her, she goes straight into the Avatar state.
Boom.
The Avatar is back.
So, yep, she's all good. She's all patched up.
What?
Huh?
And sticking with the huggy feel of this
episode.
Yes.
So you go.
we have this touching moment where Toph finally allows Korra to actually hug her. Like, it doesn't even look like Toph is into it, really. She's like, yeah, hug. Yeah, okay.
Like, yeah.
Please get off my yard.
But I do think that, like...
She definitely has earned Toph's respect.
Toph in the original series, like, did not hug.
Ever.
She would punch people to show affection.
Yeah.
She even said that herself. So...
It was kind of, it was definitely a... Well, it looks like some of her art or edge is off, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, I think Toph was genuinely happy for Korra, and, she just was really happy that she was able to help her and that Korra was able to get through this. And ultimately, that's what it was about. It was mostly about Korra getting through it and doing this on her own. She did need a helping hand. She needed that guiding light. But she did.
Or the swift kicks in the butt.
Yeah.
It really more like swift kicks in the butt with Toph.
Yeah. So, she's all good to go. Go where? Nobody knows.
Zaofu.
Hopefully Zaofu. You get on the bison, they fly out. Bye. And Toph finally
peace and quiet
walks back into the cave. And that was it. And that was awesome.
That was pretty awesome.
Okay, it's funny because like I was like, Toph's got to be in the finale. Toph's got to be in this whole episode. And I was like, but she also might be like, yeah, let's teach Korra whatever she needs it. But bye, see you.
Get off my yard.
And that part of the theory actually kind of came true, at least for now. But I still think that she will show up at some point later on.
I don't.
You don't?
I don't. I think she might be at like the end of it, but I don't think she's going to actually help her with Kuvir.
I'm not saying with Kuvira, but she will show up at some point.
Yeah, I think she'll be at the end scene.
Well, here's why I say it. I have a little bit more of an advantage.
Yeah, that's lovely. I love disadvantages.
I read I told you to read it.
Yeah.
I read the interview or the Q&A, and someone asked, "Will we know?" This was like, I'm gonna paraphrase a little bit. They like, who is Toph's baby daddies? And then Mike was like, "Stay tuned for more Toph." So, to my understanding, that means that we will eventually learn who the parents were, or who the fathers were. I do think she's going to talk to her daughters again. I really do.
Oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen. I would put money on that, actually.
I mean, I would love to see Toph come in and just completely kick some butt.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I really want to see that, but
I would like to see Katara do it too, but that doesn't.
Well, I told you I want to see all of them. I want to see Zuko, Toph, and Katara team up at the end. Actually, I would rather see that than any other scenario with Toph. Like, definitely, just that. I just want to see them all kind of just team up and be like old Team Avatar kind of again.
Geriatric Team Avatar.
Hey man, they're all still up and
moving,
alive. They're moving.
Yeah. Some of them better than others.
Yeah.
Toph looks pretty good for
Toph,
her age, actually. She moves pretty quick.
Well, Toph doesn't really move. She just kind of like
shimmies.
The earth moves.
Yeah.
Her. Yeah. The earth is moving, not her.
But Zuko's a little hunched over. He's not in the best of health anymore.
Yeah, he can fight a little bit, but he's definitely
he's not as good as he used to be.
Not as good as he used to be. I'm hoping he got better, but maybe being Fire Lord probably made him a little bit.
Probably took up some time.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of time to train. So to talk about some theories, mainly just Zaofu.
Yeah.
That's going to be the next step for Kuvira. It was said in this episode.
Yeah.
They're marching on Zaofu.
Omashu's already fallen.
Omashu. What? Omashu? What is that?
That's not important.
You never heard about that
major
in Korra?
city.
What's Omashu? I never heard about that in Korra.
Yeah, no.
How am I supposed to know what that is? It is not important.
I was a little sad by that, to be honest.
Yeah, I really like
that one.
Omashu.
Cut me kind of deep.
Omashu,
I wanted to see King Boomy still.
I'm sure King Boomy either is still kicking, or he's got an awesome monument grave
thing.
They stuffed him and put him in a glass case or something. That would be a little bit morbid, but no, but I don't know, something.
Oh, actually, I did just think of this theory. Actually,
what?
I think what she taught her, or what she was supposed to learn from her enemies, might actually come into some kind of play into how she defeats Kuvira.
How do you mean?
Well, because they made a point of pointing out what every single one of these guys taught her.
So Amon taught her
the equality.
Okay.
Spirits were Unalog. And Zahir, goodness sakes, he's my favorite one, and I can't even remember his name. Was all about freedom. I think those three things are going to be used, or very important on actually bringing down Kuvira.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're absolutely right about that. It's all about balance. It's all about Korra being balanced where these people were not.
Yeah, basically being, we didn't really see it with Aang, but being what Roku was, kind of, that balancing act between all the nations. At least in that one little episode we got to see him in.
Yeah. It's funny, when Bolin said, Kuvira is exactly like Korra.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you think about it, any real, passionate person is kind of like Korra.
In some regards,
but
yeah.
Are they, they're all, like the Avatar. They're passionate about helping people. They're passionate about, bringing balance and peace to the world. All the villains of Korra tried to do that, more or less.
In one way or another, yeah.
But they went way too far with their ideologies. So Korra has to be the one to bring peace and balance, and keep herself balanced in the process. And she's the only one that's going to be able to do it. Kuvira can't do it. Amon, Unalaq, and Zahir couldn't do it. No, she's the one to do it. That really makes her great.
Actually, Zahir might have been able to keep his. His was just chaos. I know it says freedom here, but He really thought freedom was chaos, so he might have been able to pull his off.
Yeah, he was messed up in the head. he was a little bit screwy, I think.
And I don't think we're gonna meet him again. I don't think we're gonna see him, man.
I don't think so either, unless something happens.
I think we're not gonna get to see Zahir.
They should have killed him off then. If we're not
It kind of should have. I mean, I guess you don't want to. I mean, they didn't have to kill him in that scene, so
unless they do,
the guy broke out of prison.
Unless they do unless they make comics after this, which they did, did that with Avatar. And she goes back and talks to him, or he gets out again, or something.
Which, if they do a comic for this, I'm sure that'll be one of the things that will probably be dealt with at least.
Probably.
But I don't think it'll be dealt with in this season or series.
I mean, let's talk a little bit about this episode title, The Calling. I mean, obviously it dealt with this, like I think you were right about the swamp.
Yeah.
More or less calling Korra into this place and to deal with her issues, calling Denora and Iki and Milo into this, or pulling them in. And,
literally grabbing them out of the sky.
And I think it says a lot about the swamp. Again, the swamp is a spirit.
It's not just a spirit. It's not just a swamp. It is a sentient being. This thing has proven itself over and over again now.
It would be. I mean, in a way, I kind of wish it was like just a collective kind of like mind.
Yeah, hive mind type thing.
Maybe, or like this, like the spirit or like the face of the earth. Yeah. Kind of almost like what the Avatar was going to be. Yeah. They originally designed the Avatar was like the spirit of the earth. Like, what if the swamp is the spirit of the earth? Something. That could be interesting because we see, plant spirits. We see all kinds of weird spirits. It's like
Jelly Baby.
Jelly Baby. Yeah, it's a little grapefruit spirit. I don't know what it is actually. It's like a seed. It's like a.
It's a banyan grove tree.
It's a banyan grove tree seed. That I did say that earlier, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I
don't think you're right.
I'm sticking with that one.
Okay.
I don't care what you say. I'm sticking with that. Overall thoughts?
I actually really enjoyed this episode. It was a lot of fun. It very much felt like, one of the, I hate to call them filler episodes from Avatar, but one of those ones where you had a little bit more than just the main story action happening right now.
Yeah.
Like, which you don't get to see a lot in Korra.
No. Well, let us know in the comments what you guys thought of the episode. Did you like the episode? And what are your guys' theories? Do you think? What do you think is going to happen in the next episode? Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Yay! Woo!